Welcome, everybody, to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Krysan coming to you here, presented by LaBear's Casino. Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LaBear's Casino. We're the Barstool Sportsbook today. Last night it was packed watching NCAA tournament games. Today they get started early, noon. LSU baseball, noon on Sports Shorts on TV. What is on SEC Network? You said second inning?
Approximately the second inning, they'll join the game in progress once some previous programming is done.
So LSU baseball, that first inning, you got to watch on your phone, but then the second inning, they'll join. It'll be on in Barstool Sportsbook, and, of course, all the NCAA tournament games this weekend. Men's and women's, 4 o'clock, the women play Utah. You don't want to miss that. So if you're looking for a place, looking for a good meal, got a bunch of friends, or you just want to go make new friends, go to Barstool Sportsbook inside LaBear's Casino. All right, today on the show, LSU baseball, a controversial decision again by Jay Johnson to move a game up on a Friday. Remember, opening night, he moved the opening night tilt from a night game to 3 o'clock. Today, they're playing at noon. Instead of playing at 6:30, 7 o'clock tonight, they're playing at noon. That decision was announced yesterday because of rain. And now, what's the Doppler 5000 showing, Tommy?
It's going to rain about 3 o'clock and not tonight. So,
right.
I know it's tough to make those decisions, but Arkansas is the number 3 team in the country. They travel well. They probably got a lot of fans that were flying into Baton Rouge at 2, 3, 4 o'clock today for the 7 p.m. game. Might have a kid on the team, might just be a big Razorback fan. That affects them, as well as the people who can't necessarily get off of work and go to the box at noon today, who would have went at 7 o'clock tonight. Again, it's a tough decision. You want to play the games because you can't use Monday in the SEC. We all know that stuff. So hopefully it works out. And then there's a ton of rain scheduled for Sunday as of right now. Now, we all know that can change, but it'll be dodging raindrops for sure for LSU and all the college teams. I know some other high school games have had their times moved. I'm working a USSSA tournament this weekend. We'll be dodging raindrops. So going to be a crazy weekend.
Here's the thought process behind it, I'm pretty sure. One, LSU, they're playing in front of the rain instead of behind the rain. That makes a little bit of a difference. But the main thing is, Tommy, instead of just, hey, let's schedule it for Friday night. If we get it in, I mean, look, the LSU's Auerbach Stadium drains well. They got a professional grounds crew. They got a great tarp. I mean, they could get this thing in tonight. It might be a little messy. You might have to start, but they could get it in. But here's the issue, in my opinion. Next week, LSU plays a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series against Tennessee. They do not want to get Skeens off of his rhythm, off of his rotation, make him pitch on short rest any more than they have to. To me, that's what this is all about. If you play at noon today, Skeens can then go Thursday night, or if you really want to be ultra conservative, you can pitch him on Friday. And if they go tomorrow, if they go Saturday, or maybe then. Because, look, you play at noon tomorrow. 1 o'clock tomorrow. You could easily play a doubleheader. But if you go tomorrow, then all of a sudden now you're even shorter rest on Skeens, or you got to wait and pitch them Friday or Saturday in a game 2 or 3 of the series. So, to me, that's what this is all about. It's about keeping him on his rhythm. It's a shame for the fans. It was going to be a giant sold-out, raucous crowd tonight. I hate that they do this, but that's the thought process. When you have an athletic department that's going to let Jay do whatever he wants, his priority is not the fans. His priority is not the people traveling. It's not Arkansas's fans. It is what's best for his baseball team to win games and his players to stay healthy. To me, that's what this is all about.
I think you make a great point. It is what it's all about. Jay Johnson's got to do whatever's best for his team. And if the fans have to bend or be inconvenienced, Paul Skeens and the team's more important. The goal is to win it all in Omaha. And you make the point about the pitching and the fact that next week is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, against the Volunteers. So, I think everything you say is hitting the nail on the head.
As far as LSU baseball today, for the gamblers out there, they are minus 165 on one app. I saw them minus 166 on another app. So that means you lay $165 down to win $100. Anytime you can get that kind of value with Paul Skeens at home, yeah, Arkansas is good. Yeah, they got a lefty. Look, it's baseball, right? It's not a 100% sport. It's not like LSU playing Northwestern State football where, okay, LSU's better. this LSU baseball team, as good as they are, it's still baseball. Pitching dominates. You can have an off day. You can kick a ball around in the air. Things can happen. So it's about percentages. It's about what's the best chance you have to win. Paul Skeens at home with that team this year, to me, is as close to 100% lock as LSU's ever had in the history of baseball. And so, therefore, yeah, laying 165 to win 100, it doesn't thrill you if you're not used to being a money line bettor. But if you're Ronnie Rance, Tommy, today's the day. Today, you go get it, big fella. You get that pile of money, that shoebox of cash you got under your bed. If you got that strange guy you meet in the parking lot every once in a blue moon, this is the day. Go get well. Go get healthy. If you had spent too much money at Mardi Gras, get it back today. Bet 165 to win 100 all day long.
There you go. You heard it right here from Ron, Rougarou Ron.
Speaking of this team, listen, Tommy, they have so much depth. Remember we were talking a couple weeks ago, hey, where's Pearson? What happened to Pearson? You know, this freshman from West Monroe a year ago burst on the scene probably a third of the way into the season, ended up with 149 at-bats, hit 299 on the year, had 7 homers, 8 doubles. And, like, to me, looked like the beginning of a beautiful career from a standpoint of he's short, compact, reminded me of maybe a bigger, stronger Mike Fontenot, but Fontenot hit the ball a little further. But still, like, that kind of zone and everything. Well, bottom line is that he doesn't start the first month of the season or so. He's kind of lost on the bench. There's so much talent, you know, and then all of a sudden, first SEC weekend, Jay Johnson says, you know what? They've got a righty on the mound. I got a guy who's a veteran, veteran of the SEC wars, has been on the road. Is it going to be overwhelmed? Yeah, he only had maybe 15, 20 at-bats, but let me put him in there. Well, he has rewarded him. He's been very good the last 4 games. He started the last 4 games, and now all of a sudden it seems as if they had their left fielder for the rest of the year.
Well, but Arkansas is throwing a lefty today, so I'll be curious to see when the lineup comes out.
But they started them against the lefty, over the week.
Well, and it's a good problem to have if you're Jay Johnson. You got so much depth, so much talent. You can create left-right matchups, right-left matchups, and pinch hit, and not feel like, I gotta hope this guy can get it done. He's got confidence in these guys. A lot of good baseball players on this LSU team.
The problem with Tommy with that left-right thing, and I get it, right? I mean, especially a lefty-lefty matchup, especially a filthy lefty, they just don't have right-handed bats on their bench. Think about it. Joe Bear's left-handed. Napolt's left-handed. So Stevenson's left-handed. They don't have that right-handed bat on the bench. Whatever move you make, Tommy, whatever other left fielder, Stevenson or Joe Bear, they're both left-handed. If you put Napolt at third to put Tommy White as the DH or something, Napolt's left-handed. So he's kind of almost in there by default. The only other guy that, and I think that's why they did it, is Fry. They gave him a start, and it was a random outfield start, on a midweek game a couple weeks ago. The freshman from Leesville, he's a right-handed bat. And they kind of threw him out there just to see. And maybe they'll go back and experiment with that midweek again at some point just to see if they can get another option off the bench that's right-handed. But that's what that's all about. Beloso, left-handed. They just have – it's a rare occurrence that you have too many lefties, but that is the case on the bench. They need more righty bats, and I would think they might see Fry get some chances against lefties. But we move on today, noon, Skeens on the mound. Curious to see what that crowd ends up looking like. I know I'll be there, and today's a good bet for the Tigers. Let's talk LSU women's basketball. They're in action today at 4 o'clock, the number 3 seed in Greenville, South Carolina, taking on the Utes. Alyssa Peely. This is going to be a fantastic matchup, Tommy. Forget the number 2 seed versus 3 seed. You got the Pac-12 Player of the Year in Peely, who's 6'2", undisclosed her weight. She looks like a middle linebacker. Her dad made her play football from 3rd grade to 8th grade growing up. She practiced against the boys all her life as far as high school and college. I mean, her dad used to make her scrimmage the boys every day in basketball. And she's a fantastic player. She's, like I said, she's big and physical. She's a post player, but she's got better handles. than an Angel Reese, who is more of a traditional back to the basket post player. This woman will get out on the wing. She'll dribble. She'll be like a forward. So you've got Reese, who's the rebound master, going against Peely, who is the leader of this Utah team, co-player of the year in the Pac-12. I mean, you got literally a matchup of two of the top 5 players in the country.
Well, yeah, I defer to Kim Mulkey. She'll have a plan. Kind of like in baseball when you take pitches to try to get that real guy off the mound. Well, maybe they go after Peely a little bit to try to get her in foul trouble. Attack her on that end of the floor. Try to see if you can't get a couple of whistles that go your way. But, LSU's got a lot of talent on the team. And I don't know a lot about Utah, full disclosure there. But it's a 2 versus 3 matchup. And my coins are on Kim Mulkey. I trust her.
On a somewhat neutral court, although I think obviously you would think LSU will have bigger crowd than Utah just because of the distance. And then maybe you get – you got some alumni over in that region that'll be going and all that sort of thing. So they should have the advantage when it comes to the crowd. But, it's interesting, looking up stats and information on Peely and Reese and looking at the matchup. I noticed one thing, Tommy. Whenever you look up the stats for the men's sports, whether it doesn't matter the sport, whether it be baseball, football, basketball, it doesn't matter. One of the first things you see is their name, what classification they are in school, and what position they play. And then another thing you see is height and weight. You don't see the weight when it comes to women's sports, which is interesting to me. Like, I was a guy who would have loved for the weight not to be in the program when I played, So, I mean, I feel offended that they get a choice. I don't want to put my weight in there. I'm a woman. Well, I mean, can it be both sides? I mean, with gender equality these days, I'd like to sue the NCAA for putting the weight in there when I played 30 years ago. It has caused me mental anguish for the last 30 years. I don't think it's fair. And so therefore, Gordon, I'm going to be calling you later today. Get Gordon. He's going to get it done.
Well, Roddy, my senior year's last time I ever saw 230 pounds next to my name. So I can kind of relate to you. But anyway, no, what I mean? But women don't jump, although there's a junior guard at Lafayette Christian that shoots a true jump shot. Ricard's her name. I saw her at the state women's tournament in Hammond a couple weeks ago. She has a true jump shot. So does Michaela Williams, the big girl that's going to be at LSU next year, like a real jump shot. Maybe it's because they don't jump that they don't have a weight. But the volleyball girls jump. I mean, what the heck?
Yeah. No, it's just funny. Because I wanted to see how big, heavy Alyssa Peely was. Because when you watch her today for Utah, great player. But, she's thick. She looks like a middle linebacker. And it's going to be quite the, as she plays through contact, that's the thing. So anyway, it was interesting that there was no weight there for that matchup today.
Well, you can do your best to judge it. I think we're pretty good at judging some of that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to get myself in a pickle and throw out a number. Trust me. I learned my lesson the wrong way with that years ago. LSU men's basketball, it's going to get worse before it gets better, right? With Matt McMahon having a reload. Obviously, things went horribly wrong for LSU basketball this year in SEC play. You've already seen 3 players go into portal. That's, fine. Yeah, to me, I thought LSU would probably try to keep 2 or 3 of the ones they want and go get a whole new roster. I can say this: Matt McMahon has been out and about the last couple of weeks. He's meeting with boosters. He was at the Earlapalooza event on St. Patrick's Day that the Rougarou emceed at Uncle Earl. He was around meeting with some booster friends of mine that were supporters of the basketball program the last couple of years that he quite hadn't gotten to yet. Now he realizes, hey, I need their support, not only financially for the program, but financially for the NIL. Transfer portal and all that kind of stuff. I expect LSU's going to be very active in the next few weeks, but for right now, it's kind of like addition by subtraction.
Yeah, all schools are going to have people going to transfer portal. Okay, it's going to happen nationwide, but certainly LSU men's basketball has got work to do. They got to reconstruct another roster like McMahon had to do last year. He's seen the full board tilt of what it is to try to win in the SEC and how you got to compete. Until last night, the SEC still had 3 teams in the Sweet 16, and a couple of those were eliminated last night. But it's a tough conference for men's basketball and women's, but McMahon will get it figured out. He's going to have to. He's not on a hot seat or nothing. Plus, you still got the pending, sanctions that could come down, but he's got to do what he can do to fix this basketball roster.
So go ahead, Tom, and tell us a little bit about last night in the NBA tournament. Obviously, it was upset city. And who do you like today in day 2 of the Sweet 16? What are some picks for the bettors out there, that one or two games you love?
Well, I'll tell you what, last night I was very impressed with UConn. I mean, they got a 6'9" that can play the Sanango. They got a 7'2" guy. I was impressed with UConn, and they totally blew Arkansas out. I think at 20-17 was the closest that game was, and UConn went on a run, separated, and it was never a game. I was impressed with UConn big time. Florida Atlantic, they just got it done against Tennessee. They beat Tennessee at Tennessee's own game, rebounded. They worked it in the paint. They got layups, they got dunks, and Florida Atlantic. What a story. They got more wins than anybody in the country. They got 34 wins now. Nobody else can say 34. So quite that. I think that coach is earning some coins, Ronnie. He's earning some coins, for that next contract that's going to pop up. And then what a game between Gonzaga and UCLA. Not quite a buzzer beater, but inside of 10 seconds, a big three-pointer. Lots of good basketball. I enjoyed watching it last night. Tonight, I got Alabama -7. It's showing 7.5 and 8 in some spots. I got the Crimson Tide -7 against San Diego State. I think that's the bet of the night. It's one of the earlier games, so if it looks like you're going to win that one, maybe you could get on something later. But that's the only one that really jumps out at me. And then, of course, the Elite Eight, a couple of games tomorrow, a couple of games Sunday, teams punching their ticket to the Final Four, which will be right down the highway in Houston. You going to the Final Four, Ron? I thought maybe the Rougarou Ron would be at the Final Four with schedule cards and merchandise.
That's it's a little outside of the reach of the Rougarou fans base.
Victoria Generals.
Yeah, well, the Victoria should be there. But no, as far as I will be at opening day next Thursday night. The Chicago White Sox at the Houston Astros. Going to be there for that game.
Oh, yeah. You got an extra ticket?
I might actually, Tommy. I'll let you know.
No, I'm serious. I'll jump over there for that. No, that would be big.
A friend of mine, Pedro Grifol, is the new manager of the Chicago White Sox. And so Louis Garcia and I are going to opening night to go watch that game.
Well, and seriously, if you have a ticket, do let me know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will. All right, so getting back to today's basketball, I love Alabama. I actually bet that game a week ago as soon as that line came out because I thought, if anything, that line's going to go up, not down. And I think I locked it in at 6.5 or 7, Tommy. So I like Alabama today. They are the best team in the country, have been all year. I thought Arkansas overshot its skis. They weren't a Sweet 16 team. They were fortunate to be there. They got exposed. Tennessee probably went out about the spot that they're supposed to go out. I didn't think they were a national championship contending type team. The only team that in LCC that has that chance is Alabama. So I think they will carry the torch and make it to the Final Four, which will be like consolation for your bracket.
But I also have a large bet on Bama to win it all. So
there you go.
I'm pulling for the Tide to get it done.
All right. So tell us a little bit about Tremonti's, TK.
Well, lunch special today, as it is every Friday, fried catfish. They pour some crawfish etouffee on the top. A boiled crawfish, live crawfish. Got a catering order, 500 pounds boiled crawfish going out the door in about 10 minutes. They dropped it in the pot a little earlier. Crawfish will be ready 3 o'clock today, 12 noon tomorrow. If you're looking to boil some tomorrow, they got live crawfish as well as all the boiled Tremonti's meat and seafood, all your shrimp rolls and your fish and your crab meat that you want for Lent today. They've got it. And, of course, Jasmine's Reserve Steaks, the Wagyu steaks, Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge, right down the block from Parkview Baptist Church and School. Hit them up on Facebook and Instagram. And, of course, you guys will have Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow. Where are you going to be? At the casino, right?
Yeah, tomorrow we'll be at the Barstool Sportsbook. Going to be a packed Barstool Sportsbook, especially when we're there between 10 and noon, people loading up their bets for the day. And don't forget LSU baseball tomorrow at 1 o'clock. That's a great place to watch it, too, if you don't have tickets to the game. go to the Barstool Sportsbook. We'll be out there from 10 to noon, so come see us, have a little breakfast with us or lunch or whatever, and get your bets in on March Madness. For Tommy Christ saying I'm Ronnie Rance. We'll be back on Monday for more Sports Shorts Daily. Don't forget, Rougarou fans, get your tickets now. Only $100. Price will go up in May, so only $100. 4 people into every single game, so go check it out online at brrougarou.com. It's a 4-pack, and we will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.